Hello YouTube world, welcome back to my workshop. Project I'm going to do for you today is a very simple bowl from a piece of cherry. I was very fortunate to pick this cherry up about a year ago now. I was doing some clearing work for a neighbour and we got around to talking about wood turning, and he asked me if I'd like to have a poke through his old wood store. He said about 10 years previous they converted out of wood burning arger, they converted it to oil, and he said there's still a load of wood in his wood store. Unfortunately most of it was way past usable, but there was some cherry there, and it was sort of outside in the lean-to, and when I looked at it I thought it was quite rotted and no good. But when I put the chainsaw on, it was about the outside inch was really rotten. You just poke your finger through it, it was soaking wet, but inside of that it was rock hard. You see that piece in there, it's dried out quite a bit, but it's really soft. It's spalted, but it's way past usable. But that middle piece, as I say, is rock hard, and that's the piece I'm going to use. The cherry does turn up very nice, and for some reason I always expect cherry wood to be cherry coloured, and I'm always disappointed. So let's get it on the bandsaw, get it cut into bowl blank, and then we'll get it back on the lathe, and that's where you can rejoin me. Here you can see the very typical cherry bark. And there you can see what I was talking about, where it's all spalted, and in there quite rotted. But all of that to turn away, because that'll all be in the bottom of the bowl. Okay YouTubers, that's what it normally looks like, and that is a lot of old, quite punky, you see it's all chipped out there, big splits in there. I mean, we can fix those quite easily. That I'm more concerned about. Big tear right there. Let's see if I can do a couple of clean up cuts on that. Let's see if I can get that turned up. See what it looks like. Okay, I've tried a couple of clean up cuts on there, and I'm still getting a lot of that soft just chipping off. So I was, as you can see, I was going to go for a sort of almost like a Chinese rice bowl type, but what I'm going to have to do is take that away, give that a much narrower base to clean all that out of there. So what I'll do is I'll come in and just flare that down to the base, which will take all of that away, and that included, because that's pretty soft there as well. Not quite sure what to do about that yet. As I say, those cracks aren't a problem, I can fill those. That's that I'm concerned about at the moment. So let's get We'll take that away, take that away. So I've gone in, I'll give that a quick sanding, and I rounded the bead over on there, and I'm going to put a wire burn in there. As you see, I've got a big split through there. That was with the centre of the bark, and there's a massive great split through there. There's a couple of smaller ones there. So I'm going to just get some sawdust and some glue, fill those. The rest of that is sanded up okay. So you can see on this one here, all I've done, I've gone through, just got a little bit of sawdust up off the bed of the lathe, just gently squeezed it in to there like that, and then a little dab of glue. Ooh, not that much. We'll do the same on there. You can actually see it running down through that crack as it goes on down through into there. That's what we see, there's a few pieces in there. A little bit of glue. And just set it. When you're sanding a piece of wood, something like a bowl, all the grain is running that way, it's running that way, it's running up that way, and again you come around the other side and it's running that way. And we, on a lathe, we actually sand against the grain. Now, if you had a flat piece of wood and you started sanding across a grain, you would end up with some pretty poor results, and it's only because the lathe spinners are fast that you end up with that nice shiny surface. But in some places, when you get to here where you're going quite badly across the grain, you do get these scratch marks, and in there what they call tear out, and there's some more in there. See that one? And there. So don't be frightened to stop the lathe and sand it by hand with the grain. You see, after a while, all those horrible marks will come out of there. Let's undo that piece there. So that's gone completely, that one there. And I've just got a bit more there. It's lovely. And then we can go back to a really fine, because that's 180 grit. Go that way, go that way. Oh, there we go. I'll go back to 320 grit and then up to 600. That is pretty good. I'm pleased with that. And the other thing I would say to you, if you look online, there's a lot of talk on there about turning cherry. About it can be quite hazardous, cherry dust. I've never experienced that myself because I always keep my dust extractor on and I always keep my mask on. So now we're going to put on a bit of sand and sealer. That really brings that grain out in there. Now some wax. I was going to say wax on, wax off, but I bet there's about 2 generations of people out there who've got no idea what I'm talking about. Just work that wax right down into that line there. And then just polish that up now. Get a bit more speed. And we get another bit of cloth. Look at that shine come on there straight away. You know you've got a good finish on there when you can look in there with a paper towel and you can see colours being reflected back. You know that you've got a really good finish on there. Just a clean bit of cloth to just finish it out. The feature of this lathe allows me to turn the headstock round. It's got about 8 preset stations in there. I'll just click it, use that to click it into place, lock it in. And if I come around here and turn that bowl, I can stand there and it allows me to come in a lot easier rather than if I'm stood there I'm trying to get over the top of the bed of the lathe. You're in there, it should give you quite a good view of me hollowing this bowl. quite a way off that, but to be safe than sorry. So I go too far, I end up with a lampshade instead of a bowl. Be about 50 mil, that's 45. So you want about another 5 mil out there. Those beautiful shavings coming off of there. Lovely. Okay, I just need to go in. That's pretty good for the thickness. I just need to go in there, take a couple of clean up cuts, and then fill those cracks. I'll get back to you. Oh, here we go, YouTubers. I've sanded that down to 600 grit. I've glued and filled the cracks. This is ready now for some sand and sealer and wax.
Apologies for the noise here, but I left my dust extractor on. I will turn it off in a minute.
Some wax. And a clean bit of cloth just to buff that up. Well, here we go, YouTubers. The cherry bowl. Shape really dictated by the shape of the wood. Quite simple, but I think quite elegant. Lovely colours in there, lovely bit of grey. So if you zoom in on that a bit more. Right on top of there. Very pretty. Lovely red flecks coming through there. There's orangey red flecks. Something about that. There we go. That's wood for you. Well, as I say, quite a simple little bowl, piece of cherry, moulder and rotting away in somebody's lean-to. You never know. Somebody takes it, cherishes it, could last another 50 years. Quite fun. It's only taken about an hour and a half from start to finish. I'll come down here about 3:30. It's just after 5 o'clock now. Time to open up and walk Charlie dog. So there we go. Another day in the workshop. So thank you very much for watching. As usual, I've been Steve Howe, and I've had, I wouldn't say a great day in the workshop, but it's been a very pleasant hour and a half. Thank you very much. Goodbye.